So I've decided that I'm going to take these airlift airbags off of this truck. Now you saw in the other video that when I purchased this truck, these airbags were already on here. The previous owner put those on, and looks like they are, like I said, an airlift brand. So I'm guessing that's probably a pretty good brand. But to be honest, I don't really need them, and I'm highly suspicious of these being one of the reasons why this truck rides like absolute crap. Now I do have these completely deflated as much as I can, and I even went as far as to take the valve stems out of the lines down there. So, I mean, as you can see, there's not much air in there. I got everything that I could out. But they still have, even with no air in them, they still have some stiffness to them. So I'm guessing they probably provide some shock damping effect, and like I said, this is probably the reason why this truck rides like crap. And I just don't really need them. This truck has plenty of capacity for everything that I'm ever going to do with it. And when I tow my enclosed trailer, I do have a good weight distribution hitch set up. So I just quite frankly don't need them. Now I don't know if it's normal or not, but if you look, the frame is actually bent right here. It looks like there's been so much weight on this section of the frame from the airbags that it has actually buckled the metal in the frame there. Maybe that's normal. Maybe that's just something that's made into the Super Duty frame because they know a lot of people are going to put bags on these. I don't know. I haven't really looked at any other Super Duties yet, but that just doesn't look normal to me. I don't know. So anyway, bottom line is I'm deleting these puppies and getting rid of them because I don't need them. So let's see if I can figure out how to do this. So from what I can see, it looks like that there are two U-bolts that hold this bracket on. You got this one right here that runs horizontally, and then you got this one down here that runs vertically. And so it looks like that if I take those two off, then the lower bracket will come off. And then I've got 4 of these bolts up here to take that upper part off. What I don't know yet is how this bracket here mounts to the frame. I'm assuming that probably once I take these off, maybe this has bolts that go up into the frame. I don't know yet, but we're getting ready to find out. All right, so it looks like that we're dealing with some pretty big hardware here. So I'm going to go ahead and go straight to my big 1/2-inch ratchet. I'm going to guess that this stuff is standard size. I think so, 9/16. That's the one that I used the other day when I was messing around under the front end trying to do the front differential inspection cover. So let's see how this is going to go. Looks like I may actually be better off going and finding some deep well sockets. See if I can move this up on the extension just a hair to... Oh, that wasn't bad. I figured just by looking at this was going to have a lot of torque on it. Well, but it actually didn't. So that's good. Now if I can just keep my socket on here, we'll be all right. I'm messing around back here around this brake rotor and my hands are already filthy, so I'm going to try not to touch my camera very much. I need to inspect the brake pads while I'm back here too. Be a good opportunity to do that. You notice that I'm using my Harbor Freight jack stand, so I'm leaving my floor jack under here also as a redundant safety. I was just thinking about that a little while ago. I went and bought these 6-ton jack stands from Harbor Freight because I figured it would be a lot safer, give me some peace of mind, you know, working on heavier trucks like this. And I'll be daggone if I didn't get up there and find out that they had a recall on a lot of their jack stands. I think it was the 6-ton ones that they recalled because they were just randomly collapsing on people. I was like, oh, that's great. That's exactly what you want in a jack stand. So it's a bummer because I ended up not having peace of mind, and I mean, I don't think these are going to just randomly fail on me, but for the heck of it, I'm going to leave the floor jack under there anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and take these upper bolts out, and then we'll attack these U-bolts down here and see if we can get this whole kit to come out of here. I'll be back in just a minute. I ended up getting a deep well 9/16 socket out. Just made it a whole lot faster to get these top ones. Now we're going to go after the U-bolts that are on here. And these look like they're going to be a 14 millimeter. So a ratcheting wrench is going to be your friend on this job. Look at that. Makes it a whole lot easier, because I don't think a deep well socket would even go on here. So I'm going to loosen up both sides evenly here. And they should be getting really loose here in just a moment. There it goes. I'm hoping I don't run into any surprises. But it looks like this hardware has been on this truck for quite a while, and the threads have some rust on them, so I'm not going to be able to just take these nuts off by finger. I'm going to have to run them all the way out with a wrench. So that's why I said thank goodness for a ratcheting wrench, right? These are like the greatest things I've ever bought next to my electric ratchet. That thing is just amazing. Oh, I'm getting close to the end. And of course my wrench came loose. So yeah, this truck, according to the window sticker, was a special order. It looks like that the original guy, went in there and just ordered the truck like this. And then he put these airbags on there. And I don't really understand that. Let me see if I can get this off by finger now. Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you're going to special order a truck, you know, and you know you're going to be towing heavy with it, why not go ahead and just order an F-350? Or heck, even a 450. They've got an F-450 pickup that's awesome. I almost wouldn't mind having one of those. Like if I was going to order a Super Duty today, that's what I would order. I would order an F-450. More capability, better turn radius. A lot of guys swear that they ride pretty good. You know, I don't really see a lot of drawbacks with the 450. Obviously, it's a dually, but I mean, if you're just going to use it for hauling and towing like this guy apparently did to put these bags on here, that might be the way to go, you know. It never fails that when you get your hands filthy doing something like this, that's when your nose starts itching. Every time. Got some really long threads on it. But I'm just about there. All right. So there's that one. I'm kind of surprised that it doesn't look like that there's really a whole lot holding these on. There's one of them. I have to go find my hardware when I get this job done, because I probably will keep these bags. I'm going to take them off the truck for the reasons I just mentioned a minute ago, but I'll probably keep them, you know, just in case. One of these days in the future, I might decide that I want to use them. I don't know. Wrong direction. Turn it over. Try that again. So these bottom ones are quite a bit tighter, but they're coming off though. Boys, I called it. I told you every time I go to do something that should be a 5-minute job, it ends up being a 5-hour job. Nothing goes smooth for me. So let me show you what's going on here. So the bolts on the inside, these right here, where the frame has been like sandwiched right here, it's made the bottom of the frame come out a little ways, and it's like that on the inside of the frame too. So you can't see it from this angle, but the head of those bolts on the inside are hitting the frame now. I guess when they were installed, they had just a little bit of clearance, And now that the frame has been warped a little bit, there's not enough clearance for them to come out. And without taking those out, I can't push the bottom of the bag off of the bump stop mount down there, because that bracket sits on that perch right there. So I can't push the bottom of it off of there without removing those top bolts, and I can't remove the top bolts because they're hitting the frame. God. Oh, that's aggravating. Very, very aggravating. So I guess at this point it's time to either get out the torch or the cutoff wheel, one of the two, and try to start shaving some bolts out of here. My goodness, it's always something. Whew, boys, it's warm out here. Had to go get some water and take a water break. So here's how it's going. I got the passenger side airbag out, but all that remains is this top mounting bracket, because it's got those Allen head bolts in it. Stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And of course they're rusted and seized up in there, so they won't come out. So I'm gonna have to torch them out. The other thing that I ran into, let me go over here on the other side, because I'm starting to take the airbag out on this side over here. So the other thing is the guy that installed these zip tied the air lines on the inside of the frame all the way back there to the bumper. So naturally I couldn't get to it with the spare tire in place. So I had to go find the key to the truck to unlock the access hole to the spare tire. And then I had to go searching in the truck to find the spare tire kit. Thankfully it was in there. And then drop the spare tire so I could get in there and undo the zip ties for the airline. Whew. Didn't I tell you guys this 5-minute job was going to turn into a 5-hour job? I wasn't kidding. Everything I do turns into a mess like this. So maybe over here on this side, since it's sunny, you can see the indention in the frame right there. See how it's pancaked the frame right there? So I'm figuring that this thing has had some serious weight in it at some point, or a massive trailer. Probably the only thing that saved the frame from more damage back here was the fact that this truck has the fifth wheel prep group. So you've got this massive bracket right here, which has the side benefit of reinforcing the frame right here. So you can see how I buckled that, but the frame itself is still perfectly straight thanks to that bracket. Oh man, so I guess there's not much I can do about that. I'm just going to take all this airbag hardware out of here and maybe shoot the bottom of that with some undercoating and let it go. It should be fine, because like I said, this truck's going to live a pretty good life with me. A camper or an enclosed trailer, maybe a compact tractor or some small heavy equipment is about the only thing it's ever going to be pulling from now on. So, goodness, it's just frustrating to see stuff like this though. So that's the disadvantage to putting airbags on your truck. These trucks were not, the frames were not designed to carry a load at this pivot point. All right, well, that was a grueling process, but I finally got the airbags off of the truck, and tomorrow it'll be interesting to see if it does ride a little better. Like I said, even with the airbags totally deflated, they still provide a little bit of cushion in there, so it's got to make some effect, you know. Now again, when I bought a heavy-duty truck, I knew it wasn't going to ride like a Cadillac. That's not what I'm looking for, but with those airbags on there, this thing would absolutely beat you to death. I mean, it was just kidney jarring. So I'm just looking for a little bit more comfort when I'm not hauling and towing, and hopefully this will fix it. So I don't really need these airbags. I'm going to do some research on this kit, see what brand it is, see how much they sell for. Maybe I'll just clean them up and sell them on the marketplace or on the forum or something like that. And because I could always reinvest that money into other things that I need for the Super Duty. Tomorrow, I'm going to take care of another project on this truck. The one thing that I really hate about this truck, I'm going to try and take care of tomorrow. I got some parts coming on the UPS truck, so stay tuned for that. That's all I got for now. We'll talk to you later. All right, so taking a ride down the road here to see how it feels now with the airbags gone, and it is an improvement. So obviously it's still going to ride a little bit firm because it's a heavy-duty truck. You know, it's supposed to. But you can tell now that there is a difference. You know, the rear springs can actually have a little bit of spring in them now. So, you know, every time I hit any little imperfection in the road, you know, I can feel a little bit of suspension now. Whereas with those bags on there, even with the bags deflated, I mean, there was just no give at all. It was really, really harsh. And I was doing a little research on that particular brand of airbag, and it says that inside those bags, there's actually some componentry in there too. So even when they're deflated, they do act like a little bit of a shock absorber, or, you know, some kind of suspension on their own. So, you know, again, it's something that I don't really need, and I really like the ride of the truck now without them. So I guess I'll clean those up and maybe sell them to somebody who might need them. The one thing I do need to do now, though, is find out what kind of a bump stop this truck had on it from the factory. I'm assuming that there was something attached back there that they removed in order to put the bags on the truck. So I got to figure out what I need to get to return it completely to factory condition. But for now, I'm on my way over to the dealership because that popping, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but this truck's got a little bit of a pop or a loose sensation in the steering wheel. And I suspect that there's something that's just worn out in the front end. Could be a track bar bushing, or, you know, maybe a ball joint or something like that. There's something that's worn in the front end of this truck, and I do have the warranty that covers all that stuff. So I'm gonna have them look at it and see if they can figure out what needs to be replaced in there, and that way they can give it a full look over and a complete inspection. So I'm gonna do that, and we'll see how that goes. But for the time being, I'm gonna head on down the road and just wanted to update you. Yeah, it is better now. We'll talk to you later.